Começam agora.
Pedro Ernesto.
Grito de gol.
8h33.
Repita.
Muito bom dia a todos. Somos comunicadores, adoramos o que acontece na TV, no rádio, na internet. Um bom dia tão tímido eu não vou aceitar. Sou gaúcha, sou persistente. Vamos de novo? Bom dia! Como é bom quando as pessoas estão na mesma sintonia, e é assim que vai ser o clima nesta manhã. Eu queria, antes de mais nada, me apresentar. Eu sou Renata Fã, jornalista da Band, mas posso dizer que, além de jornalista e apresentadora, a minha função principal na vida e a minha vocação é ser uma comunicadora. Uma pessoa que gosta das palavras, que gosta de ouvir, uma pessoa que respeita os meios de comunicação, uma pessoa que principalmente respeita o público que consome aquilo que a gente apresenta. São 11 anos e meio na Band, a primeira mulher em TV aberta a ter uma mesa redonda, pioneirismo, mas que hoje já não tem tanta importância, porque o mais importante é a manifestação diária, é a manutenção do que você faz. Então aqui nós temos uma proposta muito definida para poder debater ideias, para poder conversar, pensar, refletir, organizar os nossos pensamentos e juntos melhorarmos a qualidade daquilo que é feito. Muitas pessoas podem se perguntar, mas por que a Renata, uma apresentadora esportiva, com um foco em futebol? Porque eu também sou uma pessoa interessada em evolução, em ver a televisão, o rádio, a revista, o jornal, todos os meios de comunicação tendo um papel super importante e cada vez mais decisivo na vida das pessoas. E é o que a gente vai fazer aqui, aprender, trocar ideias, trocar experiências. E olha, eu vou dizer uma coisa, eu tenho o privilégio de estar ao lado de um jornalista que, além de extremamente conceituado, além de extremamente respeitado, é uma pessoa que também tem essa preocupação. Rodrigo, muito obrigada por você me dar essa chance ao seu lado.
Muito bem, bom dia, obrigado, Renata. Quero dizer que é uma honra estar nesse grande evento e uma honra estar ao lado da Renata, minha conterrânea, uma bancada colorada hoje aqui, viu? São dois torcedores internacional, mas o Grêmio está muito bem representado pelo nosso presidente da Aberte, Tonei, que está com a gente. Olha, a gente espera que vocês estejam recuperados da festa de ontem, que eu sei que foi muito boa a festa, até porque a gente vai precisar de energia hoje. A gente tem um longo dia aí com palestras, debates, painéis, tem muita coisa bacana hoje, hein, Renata?
É isso mesmo. Como eu já disse para vocês, hoje é momento da gente trocar experiências, de fazermos painéis aqui sobre desafios mercadológicos, convergência e esse novo momento de informação e também de desinformação. Hoje nós estamos passando por isso também na profissão de radialista e muito mais nas outras profissões também. E por isso teremos um dia super importante, proveitoso e de muitas ideias.
Nada mudou mais com os avanços da tecnologia do que a comunicação. Hoje a gente vive conectado, somos aí inundados com informações e cada um de nós tornou-se uma emissora por si só. Os avanços tecnológicos mudaram radicalmente os hábitos de consumo de informação e, se os hábitos mudam, o mercado, claro, como um todo, muda junto.
Segue essa mudança, segue esse padrão. E aí eu pergunto para vocês, algumas questões ficam no ar. Como que a gente vai encontrar esse público? Como é que a gente vai conseguir seguir produzindo conteúdo relevante? Como manter-se competitivo no mercado que hoje encontra-se bem fragmentado? Como é que a gente faz para fidelizar a audiência? Como adaptar a regulação a esse novo ambiente digital? Gente, ufa, tem tanta coisa. Como, enfim, vamos acompanhar todas essas transformações?
Agora são tantos comos, diversas experiências sendo realizadas. A gente está vivendo aqui, né, sendo sujeito, predicado de um momento de transição radical, de forma de agirmos e atuarmos enquanto sociedade, claro, enquanto humanidade.
Por isso, para pensarmos com mais profundidade sobre tudo isso, nós vamos abrir aqui os nossos trabalhos com a Palestra Magna, os desafios mercadológicos impostos pela tecnologia.
Então, eu gostaria de ter a honra de chamar ao palco o senhor Gordon Smith, presidente e CEO da Associação Nacional de Radiodifusão dos Estados Unidos, a NAB, na sigla em inglês, formado em Direito pela Southwestern University School of Law de Los Angeles Smith foi senador do estado de Oregon entre 1996 e 2008. Sempre se interessou pelo setor de rádio e televisão e assumiu a presidência da NAB em 2009 e permanecerá no cargo até 2023. Ele tem trabalhado em defesa dos direitos das rádios e TVs americanas e a favor das novas tecnologias. Sempre envolvido com inovação, Smith trabalha para que as emissoras se destaquem nas novas plataformas de mídia. Então, com vocês, senhor Gordon Smith. A salva de palmas.
E agora com vocês a palestra magna, os desafios mercadológicos impostos pela tecnologia. Welcome. Thank you so much. Please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get into my prepared remarks, permit me to express to you my heartfelt gratitude for this invitation to come to the remarkable and beautiful Republic of Brazil. When I received this invitation, I thought of many friends that I had made in the southern hemisphere of the Americas. And I recognized that our industry of broadcasting really has no national boundaries. The physics of radio waves work the same in the United States of America as they do in the Republic of Brazil. I recognize that there is so much that we can learn from one another, so much that we can share. But what is it that we share? I hope that every one of you who is involved in journalism, in broadcasting, understands the importance of your role in democracy. During the American Civil War, the American president, Abraham Lincoln, who was very much criticized by the press, by the media of his age, made an important observation. Said President Lincoln, if you give the people the facts, the nation will come out okay. Often our firefighters and our policemen are described as the first responders in emergencies. I think it's important that broadcasters understand that they are the first informers. The people count on us for what we do. And I hope that each one of you, every day you take home something more valuable than even a paycheck. It is my hope that you take home the satisfaction that you are very much a public servant, and your country counts upon you to show up to work. Well, the job of the National Association of Broadcasters and of ABER is to help our members to make the case for our indispensable and irreplaceable role to the peoples of Brazil and the United States, so that we can continue to play our indispensable and irreplaceable role in the democracy of our civilizations. We live in a remarkably challenging time, but I describe broadcasting as indispensable and irreplaceable for two reasons. It is indispensable because we are the first informers. It is irreplaceable because we have a technology that is from one source to everyone, viewers and listeners, without cost. And that is why our peoples depend so much on us doing our job. Now, when I was a boy, I delivered newspapers. In my boyhood, there were 3 television channels, and there was an AM radio station, later an FM station. And there was a morning newspaper and an afternoon newspaper. Well, as you know in Brazil, as we know in the United States, that model is completely shattered. And how we then embrace the future is the role of the National Association of Broadcasters and ABER. Also, when I was a boy, I was what was called a Boy Scout, an Eagle Scout in the United States. And the first thing we were taught is when you go camping, you leave your campsite cleaner, better than how you found it. So our role today in this conference is to share without regard to national boundaries, so that we leave the campsite of today better for future generations of Americans and Brazilians. So thank you for this invitation. Thank you for having me here. We have much to share. So now on to my prepared remarks. The National Association of Broadcasters, our primary job is to advance the interest of broadcasters before our government, so that broadcasters in the United States can continue innovating and serving their communities. Though we are focused on broadcasting issues in the U.S., as I have already stated, we realize the importance of supporting the interests of broadcasters around the world. And I'm so very pleased that our 2 countries are working together to create forums such as this for open dialogue and cooperation. For example, last April, we welcomed more than 300 Brazilians to the NAB in Las Vegas, Nevada at our annual NAB show. We were grateful that our Brazilian visitors traveled such a great distance to participate in our education sessions and explored the latest innovations on display. Their presence signified an extraordinary extra-mile commitment to their businesses. We honor that, and we hope that you will continue to come to the NAB show, that we can share as a world community without boundaries. Also, TV Global engineers have consistently contributed excellent content to NAB's Broadcasting Engineering and Information Technology Conference. In fact, in 2016, TV Global won the conference's annual Best Paper Award for its presentation on the use of cloud technologies for high-resolution television content distribution. Now, these fruitful relationships serve to remind us that broadcasting is a global business and that we all share the common goal to inform, to educate, and entertain our audiences. But this is a challenging and an exciting time to be in the media industry. Throughout the media and entertainment marketplace, we see the incredible power of convergence between broadcasting and broadband. New technologies are fueling broadcasters' ability to serve viewers and listeners wherever, however, and whenever those consumers desire our content. Generation Z, those who are ages 2 to 21, and the millennial generation, those ages 12 to 35, are leading this revolution in media consumption. Media companies must continually evolve to keep pace with changes in the marketplace, and many are finding opportunities to grow and thrive like never before. A recent Pew Research Center study shows that in the United States, roughly 9 in 10 adults get at least some of their news online, either via mobile or through their desktop computers. And digital sources are currently second only to us, TV and radio, as the most prominent news platforms. Younger adults, as I've noted, are especially likely to turn to the internet for news and entertainment. Meanwhile, Americans turn to their broadcast radio and TV above all other media during times of emergencies. Have you ever noticed when there is a natural or human disaster, the first thing that will crash and fail you is your cell phone? But not radio and television. Our technology is reliable in the most desperate of times. In addition to radio and TV station broadcasts, citizens of the United States also get information they need from our websites, our digital apps, and social media pages that we also sponsor. Our world is at the same time both more connected and yet more untethered than ever before. This is a problem with creating consensus in our democracies. We have so much information, and yet we seem to be so much more divided. People can access virtually anything from virtually anywhere, and there are millions of sources of information. And because of this, the role of broadcasters in the United States has become even more critical. But why? The answer is because we present the public with facts and information they can trust. We provide information about local issues, issues that matter to families. We remind them of the incredible things that are happening in their own communities, the great service that is being rendered by so many different associations or groups. Broadcasters' commitment to serving our communities is what fuels America's television and radio broadcasters to constantly adapt to an unpredictable media landscape and to invest in new technologies. Broadcasters are the trusted and reliable source of information for the public, and we want our signals to be available on every device and everywhere: smartphones, laptops, even wearables, watches, and other technologies which are still on the horizon. We're also utilizing over-the-top services to deliver content through internet-connected devices such as computers, gaming consoles, set-top boxes, tablets, and of course phones. 72% of over-the-air TV households in the United States also access over-the-top services. So we are seeing this growing convergence of broadband and broadcast among consumers in the U.S. Many of the challenges and opportunities our industry faces are driven by new technologies, and primarily that of the Internet protocol, or what we call IP distribution in its many forms. All of these things are rapidly changing the broadcasting business, leading us to make more choices that affect our future. Now, one choice we can make as broadcasters is to believe and invest in this virtuous cycle. That virtuous cycle is that by adopting new distribution platforms, we serve to build our overall audience and our engagement with them. Embracing our strengths while capitalizing on new technologies ensures our further evolution and a very vibrant future. We are live, local, and targeted. We're the most trusted source for news and information for those events that shape the world and our communities. When we take our strengths and combine them with new technologies, with IP distribution and greater connectivity, broadcasters can leverage that combination to make our engagement with audiences even stronger. And this brings us to the exciting development of next generation television, the world's first broadcast standard, a transmission standard that offers the advantages of both broadcast and broadband. Through next-gen TV, broadcasters are able to deliver the benefits of ultra-high definition television to viewers, which includes high resolution, high dynamic range, and high frame rate video images. Also multi-channel immersive sound, as well as interactive features and customizable content, to say nothing of its vast power to project in mobile devices. Viewers can also look forward to more choices and more services and more flexibility, including mobility, along with improved reception and building penetration of free over-the-air signals, while delivering increased bandwidth of content within existing TV channels. With next-gen TV, we see the seamless conversion of over-the-air and over-the-top. In other words, increasing the efficiency and the value of our spectrum. That, ladies and gentlemen, is worth investing in. For example, in the United States, there's an emphasis on increasing the capacity of wireless broadband services, and now also the development of 5G internet service. Now, you might think that that's a problem for us, but we think broadcasting has a role in 5G, and the convergence of broadband and broadcast is a strong component of advanced television service. That's why next-gen TV is based on the Internet Protocol backbone. The system supports seamless blending of Internet and traditional television content. Because of the flexibility of next-generation TV, terrestrial broadcasters can continue to evolve over time, continually providing better services to viewers. The flexibility of next-gen TV cannot be overstated. It can be specifically tailored to the preferences of different regions' broadcasters, while maintaining the economies of scale achieved by a global standard. Now, we realize next-gen TV is a global phenomenon. Again, we congratulate Brazil for the moves it's already beginning to take for being proactive in exploring this broadcast standard. It is heartening to see Brazil's broadcasters work with your country's academics to further explore research and to test next-gen TV to the benefits of Brazilians. We are pleased that last year in our country, the United States government granted permission for our broadcasters to use next-gen TV standard on a voluntary basis. As broadcasters in the U.S. move to unleash this next generation of free broadcast TV service, we're working with the government to ensure as much flexibility as possible to allow stations to provide the very best services for their viewers. Now, as you know, broadcasting relies on spectrum. And in the United States, spectrum is highly sought after for mobile broadband services. Broadcasters, therefore, in order to keep your spectrum, to keep it away from just broadband, must invest in its capacity and its efficiency, its utility, to keep it from being taken by broadband services. You may be aware that in the United States we have already had several spectrum auctions of broadcast spectrum. Our government recently concluded a process to reallocate broadcast spectrum to wireless broadband, known as the Broadcast Spectrum Incentive Auction. Now, following the conclusion of that auction, last year the government then determined that 1,000 TV stations in America must move to new frequencies over the next 2 years to make room for more of this. Now, we've been working with our government to ensure that viewers' access to their TV and radio stations will not be threatened by these station frequency moves or interfered with by unreasonable time constraints for stations making this transition. In fact, the U.S. government just allocated $1 billion additional dollars to appropriate in this difficult transition. Far from being simply a TV issue, though, we're also concerned about how this repacking of American frequencies will affect radio. See, many radio stations are co-located on television towers. So at the conclusion of our repacking process, U.S. broadcasters will have less spectrum and a reduced number of television stations. But we are focused on increasing the efficiency and value of our remaining spectrum so that we can keep it for tomorrow. Because you know what's interesting? All of the subscription services that are out there for TV and for radio, they want our content. They want our spectrum. But they don't want to do what we do, which is journalism, which is investigative reporting, to uncover corruption, to be there in times of emergencies. Only broadcasters do that, not the telephone companies. They don't want to do it. They want to send you a bill. So, by deploying and operating next generation TV standard, and by making the best and highest use of our spectrum, we will offer superior services to the communities we serve. We will ensure our ability to retain and use that spectrum for generations to come. Broadcasters in the United States, and I'm sure in Brazil as well, are eager to deploy the next-gen TV standard and are already experimenting with broadcasts using ATSC 3.0 standard. Now I'm going to depart from my script briefly to say that we have been working with the nation of Korea. In fact, the last Winter Olympic Games in Korea were broadcast by this standard, this transmission standard, in places like Cleveland, Ohio, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Additionally, as I speak, there are trials going on in the cities of Phoenix, Arizona, and Dallas, Texas. Our FCC has been a part of these, and our chairman, Ajit Pai, was recently there in Phoenix to view the remarkable new services provided by this new transmission standard. So it's underway. But central to our unified efforts to develop next-gen TV is the Future of Broadcast Television initiative, which we began, that launched in Shanghai, China 7 years ago. With more than 70 participating organizations, including broadcasters from Brazil, the Future of Broadcast Television initiative has been an important vehicle for the global information exchange about digital television and a productive platform for talking about the future of broadcast television. So we look forward to continued engagement with you, with fellow future broadcast television members, to leverage global economies of scale to provide a more unified, cost-effective, and satisfying experience for tomorrow's increasingly media-savvy consumers worldwide. While there is a lot of exciting developments in television technology, we do not forget about radio. We are doing a great deal to help shape radio's future in the United States. Because in the United States, 270 million people listen to the radio each week. So it continues to be the dominant choice for audio entertainment, despite the proliferation of numerous new streaming options. We will leverage this strength to continue offering interactive experiences that radio listeners desire wherever they may be. We are seeking to create new and engaging experiences for radio that are working now with automobile manufacturers like Ford and General Motors on various software development projects for radio in the connected car. Have you been in a new car recently? Have you struggled to find even the radio? It's a challenge, and when we come to driverless vehicles, broadcasting and the new transmission standard are going to be very important for driverless vehicles and connected cars in the future. So we're working with these U.S. radio groups to improve the presence and the appearance and overall positioning of the radio on the automobile dashboard, because radio continues to be a car-centric industry. Now, this is an exciting time for broadcasting, as new technologies, again, they're giving us the ability to improve the delivery of our content to the way in the future that listeners want to receive it and enjoy it and count upon it. As we seek ways to adapt to consumers' changing needs and provide new enhanced services in the future, it is important that we also always remember broadcasting's highest purposes. What are our highest purposes? They're the things I talked about at the beginning of my remarks that were not a part of this speech. They are serving our local communities. They are delivering life-saving information when disasters strike, natural or man-made. But most important, our highest purpose as broadcasters is that as journalists, defending our democratic ideals, rooting out corruption, making sure that the people who count on us to do our jobs have the facts so that our nations will come out all right in the end. The right of free speech, the freedom of the press, all these things are at the heart of what broadcasters do. And we provide all of this to our audiences for free. Doesn't matter your ability to pay. If you are a citizen, broadcasting includes you. So we look forward to continuing our dialogue with our Brazilian friends. We hope to do that at the April NAB show in Las Vegas. Please come again. We welcome you. We need you. We hope you need us as well. So I thank you for inviting me to speak today. We thank ABER for working to expand the growth of broadcast TV and radio, to reach emerging platforms, and to add value to broadcast services, to deliver new and exciting content, and to better serve the public interest. Our spirit of collaboration will ensure a vibrant future for broadcasting and for radio in generations to come. But most importantly, because of us, the future of our nations will come out all right. Thank you.